On a typical Tuesday morning in New York City, the sun shone through the glistening glass towers, igniting the hustle and bustle of the day. Yet, amidst the orderly chaos, chaos was brewing, though not in the way anyone expected. In a cramped hangar somewhere beneath the metropolis, Captain Jamie "Rocket" Rhodes was in the midst of what could only be described as a spectacular disaster. Launch sequence initiated, chirped the ship's computer, its voice eerily calm against the backdrop of Jamie's pandemonium. "Wait, no. Stop!" Jamie shouted, flailing his arms like a windmill caught in a storm. His cat, Astro, had somehow commandeered the cockpit and, in a fit of feline mischief, accidentally triggered the autopilot. A moment later, the hangar door began to open, revealing the expansive blue sky above. "Abort! Abort!" Jamie's voice echoed through the hangar as he sprinted towards the controls, but it was too late. The ship lurched forward, sending a cascade of tools and equipment flying. A wrench clattered to the ground, followed by a toolbox that decided to make a break for it, rolling past Jamie as he dove for the control panel. "Is this what they mean by feline intervention?" he muttered, half exasperated, half amused. Just then, the ship jolted, and Jamie heard the unmistakable sound of laughter. His crew had gathered to witness the spectacle, and their chuckles only fueled his embarrassment. As the ship soared upward, Jamie couldn't help but glance back at his crew. There was Lieutenant Poppy, her glasses slipping down her nose as she furiously typed on a tablet, muttering about the ship's safety protocols. Then there was Sergeant Rex, who was trying to impress Claire, the ship's pilot, but only succeeded in getting his head stuck in the emergency hatch. "Focus, everyone!" Jamie bellowed, a grin breaking through his frustration. "We're not just taking a joyride here. We have a planet to defend." No sooner had he said this than a global emergency alert blared through the ship's intercom, cutting through their laughter. "This is not a drill. Alien fleet detected. Defense systems compromised. Repeat, alien fleet detected." Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted from joviality to seriousness. The crew fell silent, staring wide-eyed at the holographic display that flickered to life, showcasing a massive alien fleet descending toward Earth. "What do we do?" Poppy exclaimed, her voice quavering slightly. "We fly up, we fly fast, and we don't crash into anything," Jamie said, half joking, though his heart raced with the weight of responsibility. "Gather the squad, we've got to meet with the general." The ship's controls settled under his command as they rocketed toward the command center, and soon they found themselves in a sleek, sterile room filled with military brass, most of whom wore expressions of grave concern. General Hart, an imposing figure with a penchant for overdramatic hand gestures, stood at the head of the table. "Captain Rhodes," he barked, his voice cutting through the tense air. "We need a strategy, and fast." "The aliens—" "Wait," Jamie interjected, raising a hand. "Before we proceed, can we talk about my accidental launch?" He gestured toward the damage they'd caused in the hangar. "It was just a little hiccup. Now is not the time for jokes." Hart snapped, a vein pulsing in his temple. "The fate of Earth rests on our shoulders." "Exactly," Jamie replied, suddenly serious. "And that's why we need to use the element of surprise. They're probably expecting a full military assault. What if we send a small fleet, a distraction?" "Distraction?" Hart frowned, crossing his arms. "You think a handful of ships can turn the tide? With a little creativity, we can do anything." Jamie insisted. "I mean, if you've seen the way these aliens operate. They've got to be predictable." The room fell silent, and then one of the officers spoke up. "Well, what do you suggest?" Simple, Jamie said, a mischievous glint in his eye. We distract them with chaos. As the plan began to take shape, Jamie couldn't help but notice the skeptical glances exchanged among the officers. Trust me, he said, smiling, this will be the worst idea we've ever had. Hours later, after a frantic scramble to assemble a small fleet, Jamie stood at the helm of his ship, the Star Chaser, flanked by his crew. We're ready, Claire announced, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. All right, team, Jamie said, rallying them with a grin. Remember, the plan is to confuse and outmaneuver. Let's give those aliens a taste of Earth's finest, unpredictability. As they launched into the void, a strange mix of excitement and trepidation filled the air. The stars sparkled in the distance, and for a moment, Jamie felt a rush of exhilaration. That was quickly replaced by a sense of impending doom as they approached the alien fleet. We've got incoming. Poppy shouted, her fingers flying over her console. They're deploying holograms? In a surreal twist, the alien ships projected massive images of Earth pop culture icons, from superheroes to celebrities, all dancing and twirling through space. Jamie stared in disbelief as the aliens blasted his crew with catchy pop songs from decades past. What is happening? Rex shouted, trying to stay focused as he dodged an alien ship. It's a distraction. Jamie realized. They're trying to throw us off. All right then, Claire said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Let's give them a show of our own. Using the holographic technology on their ship, they transformed their vessel into a parade of Earth's quirkiest figures, dancing hot dogs, disco balls, and, of course, a giant inflatable version of Jamie's cat. The aliens, caught off guard by the absurdity, began to falter. Jamie seized the moment. Charge, he yelled, leading the charge into the heart of the alien fleet. In a spectacular display of chaos, they managed to navigate the dance of fire and confusion, taking down alien ships left and right. Jamie's unorthodox tactics confused both his crew and the aliens, but somehow, it worked. They pushed forward toward the mothership looming in the distance. As they approached the alien mothership, a palpable tension filled the air. Jamie gathered his crew for one last pep talk. This is it. We go in, take out their command center, and end this madness. The crew nodded, adrenaline pumping through their veins. They initiated a boarding sequence, and as they infiltrated the mothership, Jamie could hardly believe what he saw. The interior was a bizarre blend of advanced technology and surreal decoration. Glowing orbs floated like strange jellyfish, and walls pulsated with light. It was as if they had stepped into a dream. Stay sharp, Jamie instructed, though his heart raced with excitement. They moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the strange corridor. Suddenly, they stumbled into the alien commander's chamber, where the towering figure glared down at them. You dare invade our ship? It boomed, its voice echoing off the walls. Hi. Jamie said, raising a hand in a mock greeting. We're here to, negotiate. What do you want? The commander sneered, visibly annoyed. Listen, Jamie said, his confidence wavering but determination unwavering. We thought you were here to destroy Earth, but it seems you just want to have a little fun. How about this? We challenge you to a culinary competition instead. The alien commander blinked, clearly baffled. A culinary competition? Yes. You know, cooking. It's a big deal on our planet. Jamie said, flailing his arms for emphasis. We'll bring our best dishes, you bring yours, and we'll see who comes out on top. Winner takes Earth. The room was silent for a moment as the alien commander considered this ridiculous proposition. Then, unexpectedly, it let out a deep, rumbling laugh. "You humans are indeed strange. Very well. But if we win, we will take Earth as our kitchen. Deal?" Jamie said, unable to believe his luck. As they prepared for the competition, the crew of the Star Chaser hustled through the alien ship, gathering supplies and ingredients that they had no idea how to use. Poppy took charge, excitedly translating their culinary notes into alien recipes. Rex, meanwhile, accidentally triggered the ship's light display, resulting in a dazzling but distracting light show that only added to the absurdity. The day of the competition arrived, and a strange crowd gathered to watch as Jamie and his crew set up in the middle of the alien command chamber. They brought forth their prized dishes, spicy tacos, gooey brownies, and a towering cake that Jamie had almost knocked over 3 times during assembly. The aliens presented their own bizarre concoctions, which included glowing goo and oddly shaped fruit that wriggled as if alive. The atmosphere was electric with tension, laughter, and an overwhelming sense of the absurd. As the competition commenced, the alien audience watched in rapt attention. Jamie and his crew poured their hearts into their dishes, and somehow, amidst the laughter and chaos, they began to find their groove. When the judging commenced, it was clear that both sides had put forth their best efforts. The alien commander took a hesitant bite of a taco, its eyes widening in surprise at the flavor explosion. "This is delicious," it exclaimed, shocking both Jamie and the crew. With the tension breaking, the competition transformed into a chaotic food fest, blending the two cultures in unexpected ways. Aliens and humans alike were soon feasting together, laughter ringing through the chamber. Finally, after what felt like hours of culinary creativity and laughter, the alien commander stepped forward, raising a fork in the air. "I declare a draw. We shall share our recipes and unite our worlds." The chamber erupted in cheers. Jamie's heart soared. He had not only defended Earth but had forged an unexpected alliance with these bizarre creatures. As they returned to Earth, Jamie stood on the deck of the Star Chaser, feeling a wave of pride wash over him. The crew, now more like a family than a mismatched group of misfits, gathered around him, smiles plastered on their faces. "Do you think we'll ever have to face them again?" Claire asked, her voice playful. "Only if they want a rematch in the kitchen." Jamie laughed, looking out into the stars. "But whatever happens, I know we'll face it together, with humor and a whole lot of chaos." As the ship cruised through space, Jamie couldn't help but feel a sense of hope and excitement for whatever awaited them. After all, in a universe filled with uncertainty, laughter and camaraderie were the best weapons of all. As the Star Chaser cruised through the void of space, Jamie couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something monumental. The universe was vast, and now, with an unexpected ally in the alien commander and an odd yet amusing friendship formed through food, he felt like they could take on anything. "Hey, Rocket," Poppy called from her station, her fingers dancing over the controls. "I just received a message from the alien fleet. They want us to join them for a celebratory dinner on their home planet." Jamie chuckled, picturing the absurdity of it all. "What, more cooking contests? We might be branded as Earth's culinary ambassadors. Or they just want us to keep feeding them," Claire joked, her voice light and teasing. Who knew that tacos would be the key to intergalactic peace? "Don't sell the brownies short," Rex chimed in, puffing out his chest. "Those were a hit too. I mean, who can resist chocolate?" "True," Jamie agreed, still riding the high of their unlikely victory. "But remember, this is about more than food now. It's about building bridges." He paused, trying to think of a witty metaphor that wouldn't sound too cheesy. And hopefully not burning any in the process. The crew erupted into laughter, the tension from their earlier battle melting away like ice cream on a hot day. The camaraderie felt good, and it was a stark reminder of how far they had come from the ragtag team they had started as. As they entered the coordinates for the alien home planet, the ship was suddenly illuminated by a vibrant display of colors. The aliens had sent a welcome signal. Twinkling lights danced in intricate patterns, creating a mesmerizing spectacle in the darkness of space. "Look at that!" Poppy exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful." "It's like a cosmic light show," Rex added, leaning closer to the viewport. "I could get used to this." Jamie couldn't help but feel a swell of pride as they approached the alien world. From the glimpses he caught through the viewport, the planet was a kaleidoscope of colors and landscapes that looked like they were pulled straight from a child's imagination. Towering crystal formations sparkled in the sunlight, while lush, colorful vegetation spread across the surface like a patchwork quilt. "Brace yourselves," Jamie shouted as they prepared for landing. The ship began to descend, and as they touched down, the crew exchanged excited glances. The moment they had been waiting for had finally arrived. Once they disembarked, a group of aliens awaited them. The commander stood at the forefront, its imposing figure softened by an unexpected smile. "Welcome to Xylothar, friends from Earth. We are eager to share our culinary culture with you. Thanks for having us," Jamie said, stepping forward with a mix of eagerness and curiosity. "I hope you've prepared something good. We're hungry." The aliens led them through a bustling marketplace filled with vibrant colors and strange aromas. Stalls displayed bizarre foods, many of which Jamie couldn't even begin to identify. Creatures from all over the galaxy mingled, sharing dishes and laughter, creating an atmosphere that was both festive and welcoming. As they moved deeper into the marketplace, Jamie's crew began to split off, drawn to the various stalls. Poppy found herself engrossed in a demonstration of alien desserts, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Rex wandered over to a booth selling strange fruits, engaging in a hilarious debate with a vendor about the best way to eat them. Meanwhile, Claire took a moment to capture the beauty of the place, snapping pictures with her tablet. "Check this out," Rex yelled, holding up a fruit that resembled a dragon's egg, only to have it explode in a shower of colorful goo when he squeezed it too hard. The mess splattered everywhere, and the laughter erupted once more. "Good thing we brought extra towels," Jamie quipped, trying to help Rex clean up while dodging the goo that dripped off his chin. The alien commander watched with amusement, clearly enjoying the spectacle. "Your people are quite entertaining." "Thanks. We aim to please," Jamie replied, grinning. "But really, we're here to learn as much as we can about your culture. We want to bridge our worlds through food, laughter, and friendship." "Then you shall have a feast like no other," the commander declared, leading them to an expansive hall adorned with shimmering crystals and bioluminescent flora. The table stretched as far as the eye could see, laden with dishes that sparkled and glimmered, enticing Jamie and his crew. As the meal began, flavors exploded in Jamie's mouth with each bite. Alien dishes were unlike anything he had ever tasted, sweet, spicy, and utterly unique. Each course was accompanied by stories from the aliens about their origins and customs, blending the culinary and the cultural in a way that made Jamie feel both humble and inspired. "This is amazing," Poppy said between mouthfuls, her eyes wide. "I can't believe how different everything is. We've got to take notes." With laughter echoing off the crystalline walls, they shared anecdotes about their respective worlds, strange traditions, bizarre foods, and the universal joy of a good meal. As the evening wore on, the atmosphere grew more relaxed. The crew swapped recipes and culinary tips with their alien hosts, forging connections that transcended their differences. Jamie noticed that the alien commander was particularly intrigued by their version of pizza, a dish Jamie was more than happy to explain. Pizza is the ultimate expression of creativity and indulgence, he described passionately. You can put anything on it. It's like a canvas for flavor. The commander nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps we could create our own version using xylothar ingredients? Yes. That's the spirit. Jamie said, his excitement bubbling over. We could make the best intergalactic pizza. With that, a friendly challenge was issued. Jamie and the crew found themselves in a playful cooking competition, collaborating with the aliens to see who could create the most outrageous pizza. The laughter rang out as they tossed ingredients into the air, some landing perfectly on the dough while others ended up on Rex's face. Culinary art requires a certain finesse, Claire said, suppressing laughter as Rex tried to juggle toppings, only to fumble and drop everything onto the floor. By the time they pulled their masterpieces from the makeshift oven, they were all breathless with laughter. Jamie's team presented a pizza that was half classic, half completely outrageous, topped with everything from pepperoni to glowing alien fruits. As they presented their creation to the alien commander, Jamie couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. This is our best effort, he said, gesturing dramatically. The true embodiment of Earth cuisine. The commander inspected the pizza with exaggerated seriousness before taking a bite. A silence fell over the group as they awaited its verdict. The commander chewed thoughtfully, its eyes widening in surprise, then bursting into laughter. This is incredible. I have never tasted anything like it. With that, the hall erupted in cheers. They toasted to new friendships and culinary adventures, and Jamie felt a warmth in his heart. This was what he had hoped for when he had launched into the unknown, unity and laughter, fueled by the love of food. As the night wore on, Jamie found himself reminiscing about how improbable it all was, their journey, their strange friendship with the aliens, and the shared laughter that seemed to echo through the universe. In that moment, he realized that the galaxy wasn't just a vast, empty void, it was filled with potential, laughter, and the promise of countless new adventures. Later, as the festivities began to wind down and the stars twinkled above Xylothar, Jamie stepped outside for a moment of reflection. The night sky was unlike anything he had ever seen, with colors dancing and swirling across the cosmos. "Hey, Rocket!" Claire called, stepping out to join him. "What's on your mind?" "Just thinking about how this all began," he replied, gazing up at the stars. "We started with chaos and ended up here, bridging worlds through food and friendship. Who would have thought a cooking contest could save the planet?" she said, leaning against the wall beside him. "Right? But it's more than just food. It's about connection, understanding, and maybe even a little humor along the way." He turned to her, a grin on his face. "And maybe I'm a culinary genius after all." Claire laughed, shaking her head. "As long as you don't accidentally launch the pizza into space." Jamie chuckled. "No promises there." As they stood together under the expansive sky, Jamie felt a surge of hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew they could face them together. Their crew was now more than just a team, they were a family bound by laughter and shared experiences. And as the stars shone brightly overhead, he realized that the universe was a place filled with possibilities, waiting to be explored, one outrageous adventure at a time. And as they prepared to return to Earth, he felt a spark of excitement for what awaited them in the stars, confident that the best was yet to come. The journey back was filled with tales of the absurd and the extraordinary. Jamie and his crew had become legends, not just for their antics but for the joy they spread in a time of uncertainty. As they navigated through space, the ship was alive with laughter, stories, and dreams of future culinary escapades. The message from Xylothar resonated deep within Jamie. The bonds formed through shared meals and laughter transcended the stars, reminding him that no matter the distance, connection was universal. As Earth came into view, Jamie felt a sense of accomplishment swell within him. They had turned a potential disaster into a delightful adventure and forged friendships that would last a lifetime. "Captain, incoming transmission from Earth," Poppy announced, breaking into his reverie. "Let's hear it." Jamie said, ready to relay their success. The screen flickered to life, revealing General Hart, looking both relieved and slightly bewildered. "Captain Rhodes, we've been monitoring your activities, and I must admit, we didn't expect, well, any of this. Good to hear from you, General. We've got some great news," Jamie replied, barely containing his excitement. "We've made peace with the aliens through cooking." Hart raised an eyebrow, struggling to maintain his composure. "Cooking? You're saying you saved Earth with a culinary competition?" "Absolutely," Jamie declared, proud of their achievement. "They're now our allies. Think of the intergalactic exchange programs. We can teach them to make brownies, and they can introduce us to whatever weird foods they have. Just make sure we don't end up as a weird food in their recipes," Hart said with a chuckle, finally breaking into a smile. "Well done, Captain. You've managed to turn the tide in ways we couldn't have imagined." "Thanks, General. We couldn't have done it without the team, and a little bit of humor," Jamie said, glancing at his crew, who were all grinning like proud parents. "We'll be back shortly, ready to bring Earth into a new era of culinary diplomacy." As the call ended, the crew erupted in cheers. Jamie felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. They had faced insurmountable odds, and here they were, ready to celebrate not just a victory, but the friendships that had blossomed along the way. When they finally landed back on Earth, the team was met with a hero's welcome. Crowds gathered, banners waved, and people cheered as they stepped out of the ship. It felt surreal, a world away from the chaos of their first meeting with the aliens. "Looks like we're famous now," Rex shouted, flexing his muscles as if he had just won a championship. "Or infamous," Poppy quipped, adjusting her glasses and grinning. As they made their way through the throngs of people, Jamie spotted a familiar face in the crowd, his mother, waving enthusiastically. "Jamie, you did it," she called, rushing forward to embrace him. "Mom, you won't believe the things we saw," he exclaimed, his heart swelling with joy. "And you have to try my new pizza recipe." "I'll hold you to that," she laughed, her eyes twinkling with pride. In that moment, Jamie realized that the journey had changed him. It wasn't just about being a captain or a hero, it was about the connections forged and the laughter shared. As the celebrations continued, Jamie felt a sense of belonging he had never known before. Earth had its quirks and challenges, but the love for food, laughter, and connection was universal. And as he looked out at the smiling faces, he knew that whatever adventures lay ahead, he would face them with his crew by his side, ready to cook up a storm and spread joy across the galaxy.